Yasmin Malik. I'm a Ahmadiyya, I'm a convert, I'm married, got 2 children. I was a Lutheran Christian, and it was quite important because I used to go to church every Sunday or Sunday school, and I was confirmed. And then later on I realized, well, about 14, that it wasn't, there was something missing. Somehow the priest didn't know anything, what I wanted to know. And it was all, oh, that's the way it is, and that's the way it is. And in that age, being a teenager, I wanted answers. I was getting too old to just, that's the way it is. I was missing some spiritual guidance. I was missing, like, a living God, so to speak. Not just something all out of a history book, or that's the way it is, or whatever. So I was missing, I wanted to feel God. I mean, I always felt God, but not to that extent. So I started looking into Buddhism, which I somehow liked the philosophy, but not Buddha. Because for me, he was like an idol, or even as Christians are not allowed idols anyway, so I discarded that, because I couldn't have one without the other, so I thought, no, that's not for me. I went to Yugoslavia, and first time I went into a mosque was there, and I saw some Muslims. I didn't know anything about Islam or whatever, because coming from Denmark, nobody knew anything about anything. What they knew was bad anyway. And even in Yugoslavia, I came across Islam as being very peculiar religion. So I came back again, and I thought, what, Islam is not for me either, until I married an MD. And I got a different perspective about it. Well, I came over here for studying, and I'm not studying, working actually. I was part of like United Nations, and met my husband. He was an Ahmadi, he was a Muslim as far as I knew, and I didn't know anything about Ahmadis or any other sects. And he used to take me to the mosque for functions and whatever. Used to bring me books, and I love reading in all aspects. So I started reading those books, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Couldn't believe this. And I thought, oh, is there any more books? And I thought, all those answers which I've been looking for is here. And suddenly, for me, God just became alive. You know, it was just, I thought, oh, God is there and looking after me, and it was just, I don't know, very exciting. So after a few years, I mean, I read, in those days, many years ago, we didn't have many English books, not much translated or whatever. Started working in Faisal Mosque, came to know more about what was going on or whatever. And it took me years before I converted, because it's very difficult. You know, once you have a religion, confirmed religion, you can't just, you feel you're abandoning, in those days you felt like you were abandoning Hazrat You're not God, because you still belong to God. But until I came to the understanding that I have moved up, so to speak, I'm not abandoned Hazrat I have actually gone with the development of religion. My family didn't want to know about it. They thought it was just a phase, being married to a Muslim. Or she's just following, or her husband is forcing her, and my husband has never forced me at all. He just gave me books and said, read it. Some friends I've lost, because it's a different way of life. I mean, you don't go out, you don't go to various things, and the main reaction is, do you think you're better than us? That's what they say. And I said, well, I've changed my life, not necessarily better, but I feel I'm more happy the way I am. But they took it as, if you don't eat pork, you're better than me. If you're Muslim, you're better than me. And I think that all the latest reaction of the Muslims has not helped the situation at all. Because they would say, well, I told you so. I told you they have got, unfortunately, we had Muslims in Denmark who had wives in Denmark, married Danish girls. That didn't help. Oh, you would be one of them. Because that's what they do, those people. And you see, all those media reaction has very negative. But I've got 2 friends in Denmark, and the rest of them I've just lost. And don't have a cousin who I don't talk to, and no parents. Well, I think that's God's will. Because had I been introduced to other Muslim sects, I might not have been a Muslim today. Because I don't agree with their views. But it was God's design that I happened to marry an Ahmadi. I didn't know you say sex or nothing. And I came into the right sect to start off with, and I was very happy with that. That's all I can say, because when I see the other ones now, and I thought, that's not me. So. I benefited that my previous life is the past, and I have become a different person. But only my friends can see that, because my children probably can't, because they only know me the way I am. And they would ask me, have you changed? And I said, ask the people who knew me before, that they can give the answer. Obviously you change, because you can't do un-Islamic things. We all try our best and do our best the whole time, and obviously, well, we are not always, well, I don't know, but I'm not always perfect. But then I know it's wrong, and I think, no, I shouldn't have done that. So you've got a totally different conscience, and which as a Christian, you follow the media. You get swept away with everybody else, and the church doesn't seem to come down on you and say, that is wrong, that is wrong. They don't do that. You just be like free and you can do what you like. But Islam doesn't. I never really had money, but I've never been short of money. I think God has always provided enough to be happy. For me, money doesn't bring happiness at all. Happiness, peace, tranquility, that is the main aim of life. It's not money. You can buy things, you can't buy happiness. Very strangely, people used to say to me, Ahmadis are very strict compared to our Muslims years ago, and I always thought, really? I thought maybe I don't practice enough or something. But now when I see the other Muslims, I find they're more strict in their appearance, but not in their action. While we seems to be more in our action, maybe, well, I don't say not always in our appearance, but other Muslims, they seem to get the wrong end of the stick half the time, and they don't question it. And that's what I like about Ahmadis, that if it's something you don't understand, you ask. And you keep asking until you actually get it. It's not, oh, that's the way it is. I mean, like jihad and all these sort of things. Nobody question it. They just, oh yes, that's allowed. Even it doesn't make sense. But our Jamaat would investigate the matter and say, look, it's not right. Yes, of course, we got a leader. And it is definitely the leader that keeps it together. If you compare that with the Pope and the Catholics are better Christians than the other Christians. The reason, because they've got a leader. The leaders say, do that, and you do it. And the other Muslims are suffering from that. That's why everybody thinks they're the leaders. And there's no direction or nothing. But we have a Khalifa, and we follow the Khalifa.